welcome back. It's Nikki here from Love of Dirt. Today I wanted to talk about succession planting. So last year I recorded a podcast and talked about how we do it here, and the real key thing is to be planting something every month basically. So if you want to harvest something every month, you've got to plant something every month. So I thought today I'd give you a bit of a demonstration, sort of to show you visually how that looks in our garden. So let's go have a look. Okay, so it really starts here in our propagation station. So this is where we raise a lot of our seeds. We try to make sure that we've got a succession going, and we plant around about 4 to 6 weeks in here before we want it to get into the garden. So let's have a look. So I've just planted out this month's crop, but here I'll just sort of show you broccoli, for example. So these ones here were planted about 4 weeks ago, and these ones which are just coming up now, were planted only a couple of days ago. So basically next month we'll be planting these in the garden, and then the following month we'll be planting these. So that's kind of, we just make sure we're always planting until the season changes basically. So with broccoli for us here, we can keep going right up until July, and then we'll start doing more of our warm season crops, our spring crops basically. So as you can see, we've got 4 main beds that we do our main crop rotation through. So these are kind of like our staple crops for things that we want a lot more of. So things like onions and garlic and tomatoes, they all have their separate beds. But these are kind of our things that, you know, we buy on a regular basis. So we try to have our carrots and our broccoli and our beans and our peas in this rotation. So this is essentially our March bed, and these were all seeds that we planted sort of early February. So in here we've got our succession of broccoli, and we've got lettuce, and we've got our tatsoys, and also the start of pea season. So we planted these also around that time. They did sort of struggle because we did have a few really hot days, but they've kicked into gear, and we should start seeing some soon because we've got our flower there. Sugar snap peas are my favorite thing to grow and eat in the garden. They just don't compare to the supermarket ones. So that's basically what our March plantings are looking like. Now this bed here is things that we planted in April. So we started seeds early March and planted out sort of mid-April. So here we've got our purple potted peas here, and we've got brassicas and Asian greens and kohlrabi. So I wanted to show you one thing as well, like if you have something that continues to grow and you don't want to sacrifice this is a really good example. These are actual peanuts, which we planted back in November. So they weren't ready. I'm not going to pull them out for the sake of pulling them out. I'm going to keep them growing, and I'm just going to plant around them. So the beauty with no dig garden beds is you can just top up compost around things that are already growing to restore your beds. You're not having to turn over things. You can just plant around it. So this is pretty much our April bed. As soon as these peanuts are ready, so when they die back, what I'll do is I'll just plant things that are going to be quick. So depending on how close we are to the next rotation, I'll plant things like Asian greens or radish, things that are just going to turn over really quick for us. And finally here we have what we've just planted out literally yesterday. So these are some of the seedlings that we've got in the ground from ones we've raised back last month, beginning of last month. We've still got a few things going on from previous seasons. So these beans were planted in January. Really they'd be finished, but actually I'm saving some of these for seeds. So I'm just letting them go. I'm going to be putting a row of peas along that trellis, and by the time they're sort of up to that height, those beans should be finished. We've also, like the peanuts, we've got fennel happening, so I've just planted around that. I'll probably harvest this on the weekend, but yeah, that's just an example of how we do it. So this is our final bed. Well, really it's the first bed, but I'm showing it to you last. But this is what we planted out in February. So this is, I've just pulled out, I had a cucumber that was growing around there, and we got heaps out of that. We got heaps of beans before the rust and mites moved in, so they're getting close to being pulled out. There's a few stray ones, but basically this bed is what I will be prepping before planting in June. So I'll just let it go until probably late May, and then I will top it up, pull out anything that's not doing very well, leave anything that is. So I'd say my carrots and some of the beetroot I will leave in. His tomato is not what I thought it was going to be, so I'll see if these fruit eventually end up ripening. I feel like they've just really taken forever. If not, they're going to be green tomato pickles, which we love, so that's not a drama. But basically we will pull out anything that's not doing well or is finishing up, top up, and then replant with the stuff that I have in the greenhouse. So that is our method here. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.